then you are far from the reality. Because what you see today, most of what you see today are fabricated details. So when you are now telling people the reality of what life used to be, and then it always contradicts their opinion. You get? So it always contradicts their opinion. So as a result of that, I realize that it's pointless arguing. Than for me to just rather say the way things it is. Who will listen will listen. Who won't listen won't listen. Because we Africans, we have a kind of culture, a culture of not. There is an adage in African that said, whenever you want to keep money away from an African, just keep it at the middle of a book. And the reason is simply because an African will never read. And most Africans don't read. They love. So many Africans, when you tell them something, instead of them to actually go out and make some findings about it, they react before they make their findings, because they are so obsessed with whatever they think they know. So it only takes an intelligent person to realize that you can't, whatever you know, there are people out there who knows more better than you. This is why I also, and that leads me to my second video, if I must say. So the one of our second question I received, the second question I received was that, when is my book going to be ready? There are reasons why I keep making some awareness in regards to my book, and there are also reasons why I've refused to publish the book today. To create an e-book and paste it on, like, is as easy as anything you can ever do on the internet. But I refuse to do that lately, and my reasons are very, very crucial, and you will hear one of them. So I decided to go on ahead, to come on YouTube, to continue to say all these things, so that even as I'm publishing my videos and people are making comment below, I will also be learning more. I need to challenge myself, because I know I can never be 100% right. Likewise, no historian in this world can be 100% accurate in their findings. You have to really understand that. So whoever that says my history has lapses or something like that, it should be that should be an expectations from you, because no one knows everything in this world. You can only speak from the angle or from the aspect you understand. It's like some historians, their life work is based on what is happening in Egypt, Kemet history. But one way or the other, they will always have a link details or a link study with the West African history. So you can only pick some from the West African as a Kemet historian. So you can't actually know the full details of the Kemet history and also the West African history, and people will still expect it to be accurate. They are professionals in those areas, and American historians can't really know what is going on in Africa. An African historian can't really know what is going on in America, but at least you can always have touches of those stories in our findings. That is where I'm going to. So whenever I'm trying to relate with an African history, these Abrahamic, Yoruba, and Bible, Quranic, and with what really went down in West Africa to Central Africa, I'm only saying it based on what I know. But from West Africa, if moving down to Central Africa to the Egyptian land, the Kemet, of course, I would never be accurate like the very historians who focus on Egyptian history. So that is why my books are not ready. I'm trying to minimize my error, but don't expect an 100% accuracy in any of the book you have ever read or the one you are about to read. Likewise mine. So no one is perfect. And so I need you to understand that knowledge is like an ocean. You can only say some of the ones that you understand, or you can only take some out of it. The rest, people owns it. This is why I keep saying that I'm just a light bearer. I'm only shedding light. There are other people who have bigger light than me. So I hope I've answered your questions. So these are kind of like compiled reasons why I've refused to publish my book because I keep challenging myself. I want to see people's comments. I want to know what they feel. No, 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 Benga, this is not right here. This is this. I'm noting it down. I'm trying to adjust. I'm trying to do this because I want to be at least near accurate if my book is out. I know even though God tried to use my hand, even though God uses my hand to write those books, those that will listen will still listen. Those that won't listen won't still agree with me. We human beings, we are not always on the same page, so that is understandable. So I don't want anybody to keep insulting themselves in my comment section. You don't need it. I've never ever in my life blogged. This is just one of my YouTube channel. I have other channels as well. So I've never ever in my life blocked anyone for insulting me or fighting. And because I believe in everyone expressing themselves, whether good or bad, I don't expect all of us to be on the same page because we are not from the same parent, likewise, or being brought up from the same hood. So that is for that. Another thing I need to touch upon is that someone asked me again, why do I choose the title Yoruba Abrahamic? That is very funny. I don't know. I don't know. I guess that was the topic that came to my mind the first time I opened the YouTube video because I could not really come up with something special. But at the same time, I need to put something that will reflect my idea, that will be catchy to those who really are into my line of understanding. Abrahamic, and Yoruba, relating to the Yoruba history. I I don't know. That I guess that is what really came to my mind. I could not even say much. So that is for that. And so let's in a general discussion. People, this is another question that came to my mind again is that another one asked me, what was my motive, or why did I come up with this idea or this project? I will tell you what is happening in my Yoruba land, in my Yoruba tribe. My Yoruba people, and I guess as well across Africa too, because for thousands of years our Yoruba people are spread all over the continent. But I noticed that we have similar attitude. There is this touch of arrogance in us positively. It's not an insult. We are people who are obsessed with knowledge. So, and as a result of that, we don't always find a common ground for an opinion when matters arises between us. So this has led to a lot of controversial relationship among ourselves. Let me give you, like in Ondo town, Ekiti, where I finished my university from. In Ondo town, there are a lot of professors there. A lot. When I'm talking about a lot, I mean a lot of professors there. As a matter of fact, is the state that has the most certified professors in the entire Nigeria, in Ondo town. They are very intelligent. We can see from one angle that is a positive thing, but people don't often see it from another aspect, the negative side of it. The negative side of it is that when there are two brilliant people, each of them will never want to agree with themselves. One will always want to prove a point to another one. And as a result of that, there will always be conflict of opinions. There will never be unity. So it has become a sickness among my people that everyone wants to prove a point. Even if it is glaring that the person opposing you knows nothing about what he is saying. I face that a lot. In some cases, some obsessed Yoruba traditionalists, or should I say fanatics. I'm not even talking about the Yoruba and Abrahamic believers, Christian or Muslim. I'm talking about some aspect of the dead spirit traditionalists in Yoruba land. If you say this, instead of them to correct you, but they already have this hatred for the Muslim Christian believers to an extent that they don't want to open their hearts to any other information beside what they knew all their life in Yoruba land. But the question I keep asking them as a traditionalist who actually believe in Ifa, which I equally believe is a good thing to do, is that you don't know your origin. If you ask any average Yoruba traditionalist, despite their consistency, their persistence in their traditional worshiping and co, just ask them a simple question. You don't want to take any information outside Yoruba land. Any information that comes from outside West Africa, they commonly play it down. But just ask them, okay, let me agree with you that all information outside today's Yoruba land in southwest of Nigeria are bad. Then give me a reason to believe you. Tell me the origin of the Yoruba people. They will start murmuring. You don't have an answer. They gave you an answer. I'm not saying you should. I'm not even talking about myself now. But they gave you an answer. Instead of you to be calmed, go and make some research about it. Try to look for one. Because every historian today picks up one or two facts to join it together for it to become a story. There is no story that falls from heaven in all these books. So you don't want any information outside Yoruba land. But the Yoruba land info that you are holding on to is laughable. They will say, Odudua descended down from heaven. Odudua have no father. There are some Benin will say Odudua came from them. Some will say Odudua came from Mecca. Some Yoruba said they came from Ile-Ife. Some Yoruba said they originated from Saudi Arabia. So many jumbo mumbo, as in it doesn't even make any sense. Yet you continue to attack whoever attempts to give you something to look into, not to accept now, to look into. I'm not saying my book or every other Abrahamic historians are right, but at this point in Yoruba land, every information is vital. Explore it. No one is putting gun in your hair that you must believe it. Explore it. So this obsession with ourselves is all about our arrogance. We are born with it. All of us want to be leaders. All of us want to prove that we know something. So that has hindered the progress in Yoruba land. And that also leads to the fight of religion in Africa generally. Muslim will be hating Christian for no reason. Christian will be hating Muslim for. They often forget that there were a time when there was no even religion. We only fight for superiority, kingdom superiority amongst ourselves. Not believe in God, die because of God, shoot yourself because of God, go and massacre, calling it jihad, antagonizing yourself. So many irritating attitudes that we do. And to even make it all worse, you people are calling the same Almighty God from different angle. So God himself will be like, why are my people this dumb? Why are they fighting themselves because of me? No one can fight for God. That is just the bitter truth. God is self-made. He has everything. He doesn't need you. Even as a matter of fact, the word that we commonly use in Yoruba, la sin, eja lo sin Olorun, is even an insultive word to the Almighty. Because sin in Yoruba can also be attributed to nurturing. To be nurturing a livestock. Ejeka sin adie, we are nurturing an animal. How can you be nurturing God? But for the common saying, we just have to say it so that people will understand where we are coming from. This is why we use sin. So Yorubas and many other related Yorubas from Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Dahomey, even the ones in America who were victim of transatlantic slave trade, and so many other in Caribbean, Britain, and all those, everyone across the world. You drop your guard. Stop this religion conspiracy. Religion has nothing to do with our reality. I'm telling you the truth. As a matter of fact, your connection with the Almighty it lies within you, in your heart, with the God who creates you. It has nothing to do with churches, mosques, or all those blah blah blah. It has nothing to do with those ones. Those things are man-made. Are you actually telling me that before the slave master brought their nonsense religion to Africa, all our ancestors who died there, none of them will be at the mercy of the Almighty? Come on, you are joking. As a matter of fact, they were the ones who had the best of lives, not we today. They lived longer, they died peacefully. Life was very fair with them. They were righteous. They never experienced what we are experiencing today. Like, please don't be annoyed. There are some noises that is coming from outside. My neighbors, they are doing some parties. So, but at the same time, I don't have to let that one affect me. They are celebrating something. I should be there as well, but I just have to come on here to fix this once and for all. So, that is things we really need to understand. Religion is politics, and stop being involved in all those fanatical. So that is for the traditionalists. From the Islamic perspective, the Muslims, they've also been conditioned through their hadith. I don't want to go into details. If you want to know everything about hadith, I've made some earlier videos that reference to them. Hadith are not something of Muhammad, or as a matter of fact, Muhammad was even a black man. Hadith are something which the invaders brought into Africa to counter the teachings of the Quran, which is why today the Quran and the Hadith, they contradict themselves. If I am the one who writes book A and book B, I should be able, those books have no reasons to oppose themselves. You understand? But for it to oppose themselves, they are coming from different writers with different view of the Almighty, which is why every single thing you see in Hadith opposes the teaching of the Quran. The Quran is what predated Hadith, which were from the Africans, while the Hadith came all the way from the invaders. And if you check the invaders, the whole Hadith, they are the cultures or traditions of the invaders. It has nothing to do with religion. And they were very smart enough to make sure that they condition global Muslims of today to follow that Hadith, because it is their own tradition. It is the invaders' tradition. So Islam of today is the practices of they are practices of invaders' culture, not Muhammad or Evans' culture. Muhammad's legacy and his own culture or view or philosophy of life lies in the Quran, and the Quran doesn't correlate with the teaching of the invaders' culture. So there are clashes, reality clashes. But out of us obsession and ignorance, our Muslim brothers just be like, they are like, let's just take everything are divine. They don't want to they don't want to separate anything. They believe everything should just be, don't ask questions, just do it. And it's killing us. How can you be alive and you won't ask questions? Even though if I want to enter a fire, please let me enter it, but I will enter it with question. For the most part, your condemnation or damnation does not lie with what people say or what people think of you. It lies with you and your God. So I don't know why people are so concerned about when people call them pagan, or they call them evil people, or shaitan, kafirun. They call them kafirun, kafirun, or they call them hypocrites. So if you like, call me a demon. Do I really care? You are not my God. You don't own my soul. You for anyone who accuse you wrongly or insults you, you should ask them that what gives them the certainty that they are actually righteous. Keep asking them. So people are just obsessed with, they are very arrogant. So it's in the nature of a human being. So for me, another thing I read about, last month or so. What really happens is in my comment section below, one of my fans was actually insulting me. I can He's not really my fan, but at least he commented on my video so below. So he's also my fan one way or other. He was insulting me. He was so adamant that he was trying to paint me bad, to make my video look bad. So every time I try to resist that, something always I'm always forced to replying, but I try to keep my cool. But what really happened is that another person, the last section in that video, I think it's about Ijebu video or something like that. The last commenter on that video now asked me that, how do I handle this kind of people? He said something similar to that. So one of my response to him was that I learned this a long ago, that don't insult people, as in don't respond to everyone's comments, except if it is too extreme. Because if I don't respond in some cases, a new random subscriber might be going through our chat and be trying to read my intelligence. Maybe I'm actually running away from challenge. So I'll just give give them basic answers, then I'll stop responding. If you now talk to tomorrow, mine is to give out the information, and yours is just for you to either accept it or ignore it, and not to attack me for my own intellectual work. So there are so many things we really need to talk about in regards to that. And so I thank everyone. This is supposed to be what I should have said earlier. I thank everyone who have supported me. I started this YouTube video around last year, but one way that I was discouraged, not because of anything. I was just discouraged, not even because of the likes or the viewing. I was just discouraged because I realized that to be a YouTuber is really time taking. Like the way I am, I'm extremely tired. Extremely tired. I look unkempt the way I am. I just still have to do this because I need to keep engaging with my subscribers, or else some of them might eventually pissed off, might eventually stop watching my video. So I need to give them reasons to keep holding on with me. And I thank some of my earlier subscribers who has been with me since last year. I saw a lady, what's this lady's name? I think Kemi Sha also. She was Kemi. And I also thank my new subscriber who just contacted me. The first person that directly contacted me, I did so about 2 months ago. Her name is Shola. So ever since then, I don't know, maybe she has some kind of luck. People just continue from Texas, .32. He came to Nigeria too. But we missed ourselves because we were staying in different locations. But it was so nice with me. He connected with me on Facebook, stuff like that. He asked me for how he could help, and we discussed. So in a nutshell, I saw support, a lot of support lately. So this kind of support just made me just drop my shoe bag, then go back to YouTube and started doing more video again. This was why you were able to see a continuous video for the past 2 weeks or 3 weeks. These people were so encouraging. They gave me good compliments. They advised me on how to go about these videos more. So I was so happy that, wow, so there are people like this. Because It's not easy in this kind of. Everybody just wants to be boss, 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 boss. I'm not the boss, oh please, oh. Honestly, I'm not the boss. I'm just saying that whatever I have to offer, at least just look at it. You might agree, you might not agree, but don't discourage people from being progressive in life. It's a bad thing. It's a bad thing. Yoruba will say, "Tomode ban sapa, obi eno ye ko gbe ni." But you can't be trying to make some things, and some people will be like, they have nothing to offer, but yet they are so hell bent. They just want to destroy anything destroyable for no gain. They don't have any gain. They are just upset with everybody. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know how God created those kind of people. I don't know. But people like that do exist. I wish you should not encounter some of those kind of people. They will frustrate you. They have nothing to lose and they have nothing to give. But they just love seeing your work not being progressive. It's their joy for no reason. They just like that. So those kind of people are very much these days. So for me to come about support of the little people I saw lately, man, I was out of this world, man. I was in the moon. So I really thank everyone. You guys are the real MVP. Honestly, you are the real deal. You encouraged me and made me to go back to YouTube and start. I thank Shola. There is a girl too. She messaged me from the UK. She told me, "Mr. Man, go back to that YouTube. Go out." She noticed that I was trying to be lazy with that YouTube project. So he said, "Go back to that YouTube. Go and upload more videos." And ever since I've been doing it, I've been seeing consistent progress. Consistent programs. For the first time in my life, the last video got me about 1.9k views. That was amazing. So I thank everyone who has been there and who have really shown support to me. And this Yoruba Abrahamic YouTube video, I need to say some things again. It's a very deep story. It's a very deep story. I myself, it took me about 9.5 years for me to be able to say, okay, I'm now loaded. I can actually say some things and defend it. I keep learning. The books I bought, because I don't just learn. I will write it down. So the books I bought were, if I count it, it was like about 50 books, and a whole notebook. I will write it, I will destroy it again. I will rewrite it, I will destroy it again. Because I just need to keep learning and trying to look for answers from different perspectives, bringing it together, analyzing it. It's not really easy for me to come up with a name that has its own word and still blend it with Yoruba's indigenous word and still have it to maintain have the same meaning. It's not an easy task. It's not an easy task at all. I went as far as going back to Unilag, University of Lagos State, one of the best renowned university in Nigeria, to go and stand on the podium to test myself before professors whom I know that they are going to rubbish me. But I was just so surprised that about 3 of them out of 10 were like, this guy is saying something, why the others really disagreed. So I knew people were going to rubbish my work, but I still have to go there. So I was ready to go through so many pains. I went to Morikas too in Agege. Those in Nigeria will know is an Islamic school filled with scholars of different Arabic. They are specialized in Arabic, all this tira. I went there to test myself. So it depends on how you present yourself. If you meet a cleric or a religion leader, but if you present yourself as a learner or someone who only visit them to learn more, rather than someone who hates them. So I was able to scale through all these processes Then was when I had the guts to come on YouTube to say it, because I knew that most of my commenters, no matter what you want to ask me, I will always have answers for them, even though it might not be exactly what you expect of it, but I will always give you a reasonable answer. So I tested myself in various ways. So as a result of that, I noticed that the details in this book are just too much. They are just too much. Some people accuse me of always trying to divert the main topic, because it's not easy. It's like a chain. One topic always leads to another. If you actually intend to emphasize on this topic, you will realize that if you didn't explain this topic very well, the person will not understand this one. And if I move there again, you will realize that it won't be easy for you not to, as in everything is just interwoven. Let me give you a very good example. If it's easier for me to randomly come on here and just say, oh, Noah is a Yoruba man. Those who haven't been following me before, they will instantly look at me as a crazy man. But at least if I say Noah is a Yoruba man, you should ask me why. So those who have not been following my videos, I will need to actually explain again, so that they will be able to understand where I'm going with the topic of Noah that I'm about to touch. Many Yorubas in Yoruba lands who even accuse me wrongly, I mean the traditional, they accuse me wrongly that why am I forcing Yoruba history, why am I forcing Yoruba legacy, that I'm trying to that inferiority complex is worrying me, that I'm only forcing to get validation from the Abrahamic perspective. They have never in their life made their findings, because their heart is just so closed to Noah information. The first man in Yoruba land today, the first Yoruba, the king of the entire Yoruba race in the entire world, or Nirisha of Ife, also said it, that Noah's ark is at Ile-Ife. So, are you Yoruba people who are into tradition and saying now that you are more privileged to information than the first class king of Onirisha? But you don't even care. You don't want any new information. You just want to be stagnant. They gave birth to you in a room. You want to grow in that room. You want to die in that room. And you actually think the world ends in that room. If you leave that room, there are different houses outside. But if you refuse to leave that room to think outside your box, you will never realize that there are more wisdom outside. I always encourage people, please read. If you don't read, how will you be able to know all these things? How will you be able to know all these things? I was born in Nigeria. I had my educations in Nigeria. I've been to universities and polytechnic. I've traveled around the world. Those who know me, I've traveled to source for information, to meet different people. So I didn't just sit down in one corner of my room and start writing nonsense. I have to see it with my own eyes in most cases, because I'm not stupid, and I know those who are about to lecture or throw information that they are also intelligent. If you like, this is the age of learning, the age of internet. Once you lie, it's easier for someone to pick up a Google and debunk your nonsense. So every word that I gave as references from the Yoruba narrative, from the conversion of it into they always have the same interpretation with the Yoruba understandings and the foreigner. Like the word of Amo, Ada Latino Amo, Adamo. In the Quran, Adam means a clay. In the Bible described it as a clay. In Yoruba land, Amo is also a clay. From the all three angles or the view of it, he also refers to clay. So you can't tell me is not from the Yoruba people. Bible said it's from clay. Christian Quran said it's from clay. Yoruba describe it as a clay, and Yoruba still have the very place where he lived at Ile-Ife. So what are you saying? So the whole angles of it, they gave the same reference, the same pronunciation, the same meaning, the same intonation, and you actually want me to believe it's not true? Come on. That's common sense. As in, you don't need a soothsayer or a magician to tell you that is true. So all of these things resulted to why resulted to why I was able to do more. In fact, I never intend to get to this stage. I only plan to write a book, put my title, then publish it. But I realized that there got to be some sort of awareness for this. There got to be a kind of a launching that will go viral, and people can be able to see the angle I'm coming from. So these criteria, or what all I intended, are also one of the reasons why I have not published my book, because I must really confess to you, it requires fund. Let me tell you what I need fund for. I will publish it I will convert it into an hard copy. To do it online, that is software thing. I can easily turn it into a PDF, sell it on ebook, eBay, or all these things. Amazon, I can easily do those ones, even within the corners of my rooms. So I can easily sell those on. But I don't want my information to just be dead on the internet. Have you ever considered that there could be one day internet could shut down and all information are here? People will just be like, they will just lose everything. So I know that a day like that could come. So I don't rely on internet that much. I see internet as a temporal thing, because the only thing that is inevitable in life is change. So my plan is for me, or what I needed the money for, is for me to convert it into an hard copy, to sell it in a book, to sell it in a hard copy, whereby I can always preserve it in a library, and I can always it can always serve as a reference for future generations to come. The life work of Ben Yusuf Jochanam, the life work of Sheikh Antidio in Senegal, the life work of all these great scholars, which I know they have, and George Seaman in America, and other like of mine. These people, their works are what we are now banking on today. They've paved the way for new generations like we to capitalize on. Newer generation that will be coming, believe me, they will have more accurate than the way we do, because technology keep evolving and things can only get better. But if you are just stagnant, you will be relying on the thousands of year old information, which might not necessarily be true, because things have happened in America, things have happened in Africa, the Europeans have destroyed the whole. Who could ever believe that Putin could open the vault, the black vault, which eventually revealed that most Abrahamic prophets were all blacks? Even despite the fact that the Russian president did that, there are still some adamant Africans who still call Putin a liar, because this slave mentality thing have really broken their spirit. They've been conditioned to be hell-bent, to just be stuck in their own fantasy. They don't want anything else besides what they've known all their life. So I needed the hard copy to be done in a sort of way that it can be preserved, that even though information gets missing on internet, people will still have the copies of those books to themselves, and they can always see something to teach their students or to bank on further investigations in the future. This is why I need a hard copy. For me to get the hard copy out, I will need the book launching. I will do the book launching, which I will need to invite many reputable people, either in Nigeria, from America, or stuff like that, because I have people over there who are already ready to support me directly or indirectly. So I need stuff like that. I will have to go on here to buy airtime where I can be broadcasting maybe 30 minutes in 2 days, so people can keep asking me questions. I need people to ask me questions. Please, it's not an insult to ask me tough questions. You are actually brushing me up, telling me to sit upright. You are not doing me any bad thing. You are encouraging me. It's like a compliment to me. You don't need to tell me you are foolish, you are this, you are that, you are writing rubbish. Just ask me, where did you get information? Can you prove it? Then I can always give you my link. And in my book, I make sure that I wasn't carried away with religion or my Yoruba traditional affiliation. I made sure that I have scientific proof to back it up. Real scientific proof. The results, the day the archaeological report was conducted, the scientific research was made, and the results will be there. So you can always go further to check in European museum, African museum, that's if we have one, to confirm it, that was this text actually carried in so place at so year. So I backed my claims up with scientific proof and remarks of earlier scholars they did on different subjects. I backed it up with it, and at the same time I also backed it up with Bible, Quran, and prehistorical records which happened in Africa, which are on most of our untold stories. I also backed it up with those ones. So I made sure that Muslim won't have any reasons to oppose me based on his religion affiliation, unless he is personally sentimental. Likewise, the Christian or the traditional, everyone can always have a meeting point of opinion that this guy is actually saying the truth, because that is the only thing that can unite all Africans. What actually destroy African is religion. So I don't see this as a bad thing. I only see it as a way to unite the Africans and Africans in general. Mind you, another thing I need to touch, I'm only addressing, whenever I'm addressing like West Africa, believe me, or I'm addressing the Yorubas of West Africa, I'm practically talking about the Yorubas entirely in West Africa, not just in today's southwest of Nigeria, because there are Yorubas at Ile-Ife, there are Yorubas at Ile-Ife, there are Yorubas everywhere. So we have to really understand that the Yorubas at Ile-Ife and the Yorubas in Dahomey, Yorubas in Benin, Yorubas, all these Yorubas are people of the same ancestry. They spread out to form communities. They are people of different ethnies. In Yoruba land, once you give birth in antiquity till today, it's more like a taboo for a man to still live under his father's roof after marriage. A child of mine, a son of mine, even though I might eventually will all my property to him, we have to go outside to go and build his own house. The child must not rely on my own property. It's like a taboo in Yoruba land. So when that child too eventually have his own child, the child too will need to migrate to another place to go and start his own legacy. So the Yoruba spread across West Africa. So whenever I'm trying to dub the West African as Ile-Ife, I'm not actually conditioning it to today's Osun State, in today's Nigeria. Because in antiquity, the ruler of the entire Yoruba race or the Yoruba tribe in the entire world was a king over the entire African people, and also the entire Yorubas from West Africa down to America. Like in America, the Yorubas that left West Africa to America, they are called Moors. The mud was derived from Onimo Hari, people of wisdom, or people who has wisdom and have the knowledge of what is happening beyond the shores of Africa. Onimo Hari, and that is for the ones that went to Europe. So the Yorubas, they actually went from, that left West Africa to reside in America, because the Negro who are in America, they are of two types. The Negro who came there as a means of slavery, and the Negroes who have been existing there even before Columbus or the Europeans came. So there are two types of Negroes there. And some of the Negroes that later came to relocate there through visa lottery. So there are different categories of African. But the very indigenous one, though, the very indigenous one that actually owned America are the Negroes who were there before all activities of foreigners started. So these are the ones who founded America. They were called the Olumek, and that is another Yoruba name from Olumeko. They are teachers. Olumeko. My Yoruba people can relate with the meaning. They are teachers, people who teach, people who brought civilization to America. Olumeko. That is where the idea of Olume came from. Each one of them were Yoruba people from different sections, because in Yoruba land in those days, our specialty was based on different places. Like in West Africa, let me use today's Nigeria for an example. In southwest of Nigeria, in today's southwest of Nigeria, the Ife people the Oyo people were known as traders. The Ife people, they specialize in trading. The Ibadan people, they are historically known as warriors to Oyo. Their lineage are Ìran Jagun, Ìran Ológun, Bashorun, Ashinpa. They specialize at Oyo. So we specialize at Ondo. People who specialize in technology, smithing, Ogun. So Yorubas, they have this kind of division of labor within different ethnics. Do you understand this? This is why when I said the Yorubas that founded the land of Mali, they sectioned that place for education entirely. It's not that the Malians don't do any other thing. They prosper from the aspect of education, Timbuktu, and they also prosper. So, and some other Yoruba ethnic people also so the Yoruba spread across the entire West Africa. They are practically the owners of West Africa. This is why the pre-colonial map boldly target as Negro land in general. Ilẹ̀ Aníògo, ilẹ̀ àwọn ọmọ ológo, àwọn ọmọ Nubian, ilẹ̀ àwọn ọmọ ológo, ilẹ̀ àwọn Liago, ilẹ̀ Aníògo, ilẹ̀ oko àwọn Aníògo, farmland of the Aníògo, oko Congo, oko Aníògo, because in Yoruba land, if you have hometown, you must have a farmland. Ibo ni oko yin? Where is your farmland in Yoruba land? They might ask you if you are from Yoruba. So if you are living in the city, you must have a farmland. If that is the traditions of the Yoruba. Generally, you can ask any Yoruba people, Ibo loko yin? Where is your farmland? People of Lagos, their farmland used to be those places of Epe. So the idea of Congo was come from Oko àwọn Aníògo, farmland of the Yoruba people, extension back of the town along Yoruba outskirts, where it was preserved as their farmland in general. Oko àwọn Aníògo, and we can also call it Ilẹ̀ Aníògo, Ilẹ̀ Ago, the former name of Congo. So, and Oyo is even still there today. So we have to just reason out of the box. We have to think deeper. Don't let us limit our thinking to just one. There are so many knowledge. There are so many things that are hidden from us. So many. I can keep talking from now till next tomorrow, because I will just keep jumping from one topic to another topic, from one topic to another topic. I just hope there will be a day I will be privileged to speak, to address people. So I will tell the Muslim to come, the Christian to come, the traditionalists to come. Everybody will realize that we are just fighting ourselves for nothing. We are just fighting ourselves based on complete ignorance. We used to be one family in the entire Africa. The only people who slightly have non-African blood are the Fulbe people, and the likes of the modern Ethiopian, those biracial people, because their melanin has been corrupted with the enslavers. So it's expected of them not to really have the same like mind of the black people, of indigenous black Africans, because they have the touch of the enslavers in them. Do you understand? So, but for the black skinned people, we are practically the same people of different ethnics, even though one always emerge from another, one always remerge from another. One will always be pure blood. Do you understand? But even as a pure blood, you always, one race, one tribe will always lead to another tribe. One tribe will always lead to another tribe. But we were all one family in Africa. There was a time where Africa was actually called Ethiopia, except North Africa. Because North Africa, they are different people entirely. They are Africans. Don't get me wrong. They are Africans. But there is a strong differences in our way of life in antiquity. But the rest, from Ile-Ife straight down to West Africa, or from Ile-Ife to Central Africa, they are practically Yoruba people under different name. Like Yoruba to Igbo. Most Igbo don't even know that their ancestor, their mother, the mother of the Igbo race, was actually one of the Ile-Ife Olori princess who left Ife land. But she married an Egyptian man. So Igbo has traces of Egyptian, they have the traces of the Egyptian tribes, and also traces of the Yoruba. But because their father is from there, and in Africa, the father is always the front runner, or the major pillar of the family. So they took more trait from their father rather than from their mother in most cases. The Hausas too, their father is from Egypt, their mother is a Yoruba man, from the father that gave birth to your prophet called Moses, Amushere, Baaleni. He was a local chief priest. I have the whole stories there. If I even release some of the stories, some people will prosecute me. Please, they will prosecute me, because they've been used to, most of my facts are something they are not used to. They are not used to it. But I'm saying it based on, I will even give you references on how to go and verify it. If you really intend, you will be shocked that whatever I tell you are the exact truth. We don't need to make noise. Truth will fight for itself. Truth will make its way out. Yours is for you to accept it and go and do your findings. But for you to just rubbish everything, that shows how less intelligent you are. As I am, I made sure that I got I got lessons from different religionists. I don't hate anybody. They are human beings. If you tell me to do this in your pastor to clap for God, I will clap for it. If you tell me to clap for Jesus, or to bow down for Muhammad, I will do it. If you tell me to go and honor Shogo or Orisha, I will do it. If you ask me why am I doing everything, because what you are doing is not a criteria for your righteousness before the Almighty. Don't let anyone lie to you. The idea of religion has to do with belief. And belief is a thing of mind. Do you believe in God or you don't believe in God? Do you believe in God or you don't believe in God? If you believe in God, no one will know. That is your problem with your Almighty. If you don't believe in God, no one has to know. It's your problem with your Almighty God. The ones I'm doing with the physical body are mere paparazzi, show off, business, politics. It has nothing to do with God. Is just looking at us like, will these people ever have sense in their life? So, if you like, nod your head on the floor for 1 million times. It doesn't describe who you are. Pastors, imam, or it doesn't. What they do behind the scene is very terrible. If churches and mosques or traditionally are actually criteria for you to be righteous, why are sin or bad things keep elevating today, keep escalating? Homosex, insects, corruption, so many bad things, prostitution, pornography, stuff like that. They keep it. So it doesn't stop anything. Yet there are billions of churches, mosques at each corners of the world. That tells you that they have no impact in all these things. They have no impact. Everyone is just looking for a means of survival to eat. Anything that have to do with God comes with belief. Believe with your God. Whether you believe, only God can know. Whether you don't believe, and it has to do with your heart. I might be in my room sleeping like this, and I'm already talking to God. I don't have to go to any place and start banging my head on the wall in the name of praying in Islam. I don't have to go to church and start dancing and clapping and shouting. I don't have to do all this kind of things before I can. I'm not trying. I shouldn't be doing things to convince people that I'm a believer. I don't need your validation to tell me. So we have to realize that your belief and your connection with God is your business. If I like, I will sleep with 3 prostitutes tonight. Whether God will accept me or God won't accept me, that should be within me and my God, not because you are saying it. As a matter of fact, those that you actually look as a bad people, they are always the most righteous before God. Why those you call your chief imam, cleric, they do terrible things behind the scene. So religion is pure politics. I'm not saying you should stop going to whatever you believe in it, but don't make it a do or die. It doesn't worth it. Honestly, it doesn't worth it. If you argue so much and you see that the person is hell-bent, let that person breathe.